Right, so Jeremy Hunt's budget yesterday confirmed the expected news that the dreaded work capability assessment, the test used to assess somebody's fitness to work, a test that has historically been carried out by people unqualified to judge medical conditions, that has treated complex additional needs as a one-size-fits-all box-ticking exercise, that has failed disabled people for years, seeing many found fit for work and placed at the mercy of benefit sanctions wrongly and through no fault of their own, is going to be scrapped. Hooray! Great news on the surface, but there was very little detail put out on offer by Hunt as he was stood there, just that a white paper, a government-issued information sheet, basically, would explain everything. It's an onerous 43 pages long, I warn you. I read through it today, but it's worth reading if your family, like mine, is likely to be affected by it. Hunt has said during the budget that the issues of disability and being able to work must be separated, since for years your ability to work has been what the work capability assessment assessed. Clue is in the name, of course. Not your actual disability, not your health, and how that might affect your ability to work in and of itself. It was all about what you can't do, measured against their box-ticking way of measuring such things, which was completely arbitrary, made very little sense, pigeonholed people, grouping them together in a way that never actually took account of their medical issues. It's been an abusive, terrifying process for too many years, and so, on the face of it, this is all very, very welcome. Hunt said those disabled people who wished to work could voluntarily opt to and be supported by a new universal support system to help find work they can actually do. I said the devil would be in the detail in my snap budget analysis video yesterday. Go and watch it if you haven't seen it, of course. And so it proves to be the case, sadly. If the work capability assessment is going to be scrapped, what is going to replace it? This was my first thought when I heard Hunt mention it, and I imagine a lot of people will have been thinking the same thing. The change in thinking now is not to work out what people cannot do, as the previous assessment measured, but what they can. And the idea is that they'll now work with employers to reform the market, to open up new opportunities, as well as work with occupational therapists who can put into place ways for disabled people to access workplaces should they wish to, and to present greater opportunities to work online or from home, as so many more people found themselves able to do during the pandemic, for example. A change of thinking is a good thing. Still, though, how are they going to measure this? And if the onus is now going to be on working out what people can do, then a much greater emphasis must be placed on the individual disabilities any given person might have. And of course, they vary from one person to the next. How do they assess all of that right now, then? That would be the assessment for personal independence payment, or PIP. As I said before, the idea now is that disability and ability to work must be separated. And it's here that the catch comes in for a great many people, I'm sad to say. With the axing of the work capability assessment and nothing coming in to replace it, the only test the government has for disability now is PIP, which assesses additional needs due to disability. It has nothing to do with work capability. Therefore, if you're to be seen as disabled and unable to work once all of this comes into force, you need to be claiming PIP. This in and of itself is not straightforward either. This test drives people mad, just as the work capability assessment did, because it has regularly found disabled people to not meet the level of disability that test measures against. You can be disabled, but not enough, according to the PIP test, which, again, is another arbitrary box-ticking exercise. Successful claimants ensure they send every scrap of medical evidence, every specialist letter, list every medication they can, and get the doctor to write a letter supporting it, paying for that if needs be, to get through this thing, and even then it's a case of fingers crossed. If having a successful claim is going to be the measure for who is disabled going forwards, there's a significant danger that without the work capability assessment or a much improved replacement, many disabled people not claiming PIP will not be considered disabled in any way, shape or form. And this could all be because a great many people simply fall afoul of the PIP assessment itself. The support is going to be there to help disabled people. These would all be successful PIP claimants, though, of course, voluntarily seeking work if they would like to. Everyone else, as Hunt also said, would face harsher sanctions for not looking for work, none of whom would be considered long-term sick or disabled. How many people who get a disability premium on their employment support allowance or their universal credit would suddenly lose it once all this comes in because they don't also claim personal independence payment? Could they overnight lose any recognition of additional needs because they failed the PIP assessment, and not for any disability reason, but because that test is stacked against the claimant? It has been widely discredited itself for years and isn't any more fit for purpose than the outgoing work capability assessment is. If they are claiming PIP, then great. Under universal credit, a new additional support package is coming in called the Universal Health Credit Element, replacing the limited capability for work groups and work-related activity groups in universal credit, and emphasizing this separation of disability and work capability. But this only benefits people, again, it appears, as I've said over and over by now, who have successfully claimed PIP. If you aren't claiming it, or if you lose PIP at your next assessment for it, you stand to lose hundreds of pounds as all of a sudden you lose those financial elements you were entitled to. The government will no longer recognise your additional needs or disability, no matter how long you may have had a recognised limited capability for work. This could leave, according to the Institute of Fiscal Studies, who have also weighed in on this, 1 million people with limited capability for work considered as no different to fully able-bodied people in the pursuit of work and facing not only greater financial hardship, but an even more nasty sanction system as well at the same time. There are benefits to this plan, but all of it hinges on whether you claim PIP or not. It takes 14 weeks to claim PIP on average. I can imagine when more people get wind of this, they'll be trying again to do so. But I have to add, none of this is going to happen overnight. In fact, reading the white paper, I couldn't believe how far down the road they're going to kick this. Primary legislation for this, to introduce all this, to push it through, won't be introduced until the next Parliament. So all of this depends on whether the Tories even win the next election. They won't then begin rolling out this to new claims until 2026, and existing claims they won't begin to look at until 2029. So the system we have now is here to stay for another Parliament or longer yet, according to that white paper. PIP is a swine. The assessment is too. Too often they are conducted by people not qualified and tick boxes, work against more people than they work for. A silver lining here is that all assessments going forwards, when these changes come in, will be recorded, and claimants can then review these as part of their claim. So who knows, this may well improve the quality and the outcomes. But I've far too much personal experience of these. I, as the carer, not even the claimant, have lost sleep. I've woken up in terror at times in the past at being potentially left destitute at the stroke of a pen. Too easily believe in that. However, there is support out there if you know where to look. One such organisation, a non-profit community interest company based in Bury in Lancashire, but offering help nationwide, is Fight Back for Justice. They've been helping people with form filling all the way up to accompanying people to assessments since 2013. 10 years this year they've been going, helping people, and they really do know these forms inside and out. They are not there to help people cheat, but they are there to ensure information is presented in exactly the right way to give claimants the best chances of success. They aren't free. Sadly, the entire organisation runs on donations, but considering what people may stand to lose, they and others like them are a bargain. I'll post a link to their website. Do check them out if you're going to be potentially adversely affected by what the Tories are planning on pushing ahead with. And definitely, if you're thinking of applying for PIP, it's well worth doing your homework on that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy the vid, please do hit like and subscribe, leave a comment and hit the notification bell too so you don't miss the next one. Also look out for me on social media and other interesting stuff by clicking on the Linktree link in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, folks.